Today's video is sponsored by Squarespace. Hello there everyone, I hope you're all doing well. Today I am very excited to share with you a new recipe. This time for some chamomile, oh hi Lebby. This time for some chamomile lemon cookies, butter cookies. Do you want to come sit with me? Here. Okay. And as per usual lately, Hazel is joining us.
Is somebody trimming trees?
And now they're back to trimming back the blackberry bushes. They're invasive and should be taken out of where they're growing, but boy is it noisy.
Hello, my little love. Oh my goodness. All of the babies.
Okay, sounds like they're taking a long time to trim. I will be right back. Okay, I think that they are done, and Hazel has unfortunately decided to hang out elsewhere. So let's get into this video though. I am a big fan of butter cookies. I absolutely adore them. They're so easy to make and they just always taste delicious. I had a recipe that this is very much based off of that I shared years ago, where I put fresh flowers on top of the cookies and baked them, and they were beautiful and delicious. And I really didn't want to change much about the recipe, but I just thought that chamomile would be incredible. And of course, since it's summer, I decided that lemon should be added in there. So all in all, this is a very simple, very delicious recipe that I am so pleased with and will be making a ton more of. And maybe soon I will also remake that edible flower recipe, or edible flower cookies recipe that I did, just because they're so beautiful and lovely to bring to gatherings and or anything that you have going on in the summer. Can't really beat a good cookie. But before we dive in, this video is sponsored, so let's hear a little bit more about that. Thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. Squarespace is a website building and hosting company, and as I'm currently working on putting up a website, it is very exciting to get to partner with them. With Fluid Engine, a next-generation website design system from Squarespace, it's never been easier for anyone to unlock creative design. You get to start with a best-in-class website template and customize every detail with reimagined drag-and-drop technology for desktop or mobile. You can stretch your imagination when it comes to online design with Fluid Engine, built in and ready to go on any new Squarespace site. One thing I really love about Squarespace is their flexible website template. You get to get started with one of their professional website templates with designs for every category and use case. Then customize your look, update the content, and add features to fit your unique needs. You can make any Squarespace template do what you want, so your idea, brand, or business stands out online on every device and can be as unique to you as you dream. Another thing that I really love about Squarespace is the ease of working an online store. Whether you sell physical, digital, or service products, Squarespace has the tools you need to start selling online. So if this sounds interesting to you, go to squarespace.com/thegreenwitch to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or a domain. Thanks again to Squarespace for sponsoring, and let's get back to the video. Alrighty, welcome back. Let's begin by diving into the ingredients that you'll need. So for this recipe, it's very straightforward. All you'll need is 1 cup of room temperature butter, 1 cup of powdered sugar, a pinch of salt, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, the zest of 1 lemon, chamomile tea, 2 cups of all-purpose flour, 1 tablespoon of chamomile infused heavy whipping cream, and coarse sugar for dusting. The tea can either be loose leaf or it can be in tea bags. I do personally recommend loose leaf, but the tea bags will work just fine. One more additional note, the infused chamomile heavy whipping cream is so minor in the recipe that if you don't feel like this step, you can skip it because there will be more chamomile throughout. But if you would like to make the chamomile infused heavy whipping cream, that's where this recipe begins. This is very simple. This is something I do for all of my herbally infused recipes. I like to make essentially a tea, but instead of water, I use the milk, or in this case, heavy whipping cream, heat it up, pour it over the herbs or add the herbs to it, let it steep for a while, and usually I set that aside while I start the rest of the recipe. So very, very straightforward. So again, if we're beginning there, if you want to make the infused heavy whipping cream, begin by heating up your heavy whipping cream. Usually you'll need maybe 3 times the amount of something like heavy whipping cream to get a good infusion. And I like to just make a little bit of extra. Some of the heavy cream will be absorbed into the loose leaf chamomile, and it's good to just have some extra. So heat it up, pour a good amount of the loose leaf tea, or add a tea bag to the milk, and set it aside while we work on the rest. And the next step is super simple. We're going to combine the rest of the ingredients into one large bowl. Start with the butter. If you'd like to whip the butter together to get it a little bit fluffier, you can do that. This is not something I tend to do in my home because I don't usually feel that I have the time, but for a really beautiful butter cookie, whipping the butter is a great way to start, and creaming the sugar into it as well. But if you're gonna be like me, just add in your butter, sugar, that pinch of salt, the teaspoon of vanilla, the zest of a lemon, ground chamomile, two cups of that all-purpose flour. And then by this point, you should have a pretty well steeped bit of tea, and so add that 1 tablespoon of heavy cream. Then mix it all together. Typically I start with a spoon, and by the end I might need to move in with my hands. It should come together and form a very moldable dough ball. If it gets hard to work with, it might be getting a little bit too warm, which is something that happens a lot in the summertime. You can just pop it in the fridge for a minute to cool down, and then bring it back out to keep getting it mixed together. Once it's all combined, I like to portion it out onto my table and place it onto parchment. I like to roll it out between 2 sheets of parchment just because the butter gets very warm when I'm handling it more directly, but this is up to you. It also can stick really, really hard to rolling pins, and my rolling pin is very old, and sometimes when I'm working with something really sticky, it will splinter off into it. So to avoid that, I like to, again, keep it between some parchment. You're gonna wanna roll out the dough to maybe about 1/3 of an inch thick. And then take either a cookie cutter, a glass, or a knife and cut out the shapes that you want to. I was using a biscuit cutter to cut mine. And then just repeat this process, balling up the dough, rolling it out, and cutting out those shapes until you have as many as you can possibly get. Place these cookies onto a parchment paper on a tin. Then sprinkle them with coarse sugar and pop them into the fridge to cool down as much as possible. At this point, I will often start preheating the oven, but you'll want to make sure that the butter is very hard before you pop them in there. They can rest in here overnight or for even a few days. But once you are ready, preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Then pop them in there for 18 to 20 minutes or until they're starting to look very lightly golden. I did accidentally let mine cook a little bit too long, but they were still very delicious. Allow them to cool completely and enjoy. I cannot seem to win with the people who are getting rid of the bramble bushes. I have been trying to talk in between them for almost an hour now, so we're gonna close out this video with a little bit of yard work in the background, and I'm so sorry about that. But this recipe is very simple. It's one that you should be able to do relatively quickly, and it's an easy one to prepare for later occasions. Chamomile is a beautiful calming herb, and with lemon it can also tie to prosperity and to cleansing, so it's a great recipe to make for clearing the mind and bringing peace. I absolutely adore a little bit of kitchen witchery here and there, and I hope you guys do as well. So I hope you enjoy this recipe and get some use out of it. Let me know how it goes. Let me know if you tweak it. You could also make this recipe with some different ingredients as well, maybe a different tea or even fresh herbs that are edible of your own choosing. I think rose would be really delicious and one that I want to try. All right, let's close out this video. If you can and would like to, I'd really appreciate it if you checked out my Patreon. There I share art, herbal profiles, book recommendations, and monthly workshops. I also have another channel where I share more vlogs and day-to-day life. I really love it over there and would love to see you there if you want to see more content from me. And I also have a book that you probably have heard me talk about a ton. It is a book meant to bring the beginner to the intermediate through herbal magic and spellcraft. It dives very deeply into spellcraft, and afterwards you should feel pretty well versed in how to do it all. So I hope you enjoy. I am so sorry for the bramble removal, and I hope that you guys are having a good day, and I can't wait to see you again soon.